ChatGPT is a mathematical model. And for the geeks amongst us, it uses a deep neural network inside the hood, but that's actually not all that relevant. It's a mathematical model. It was trained on 30 billion sentences of text extracted from the internet and a whole bunch of books. And it was trained on these sentences to do one thing, but to do that one thing extremely well. And that was to predict the next word in a sentence given the prior part of the sentence. So for example, you give it the cat sat on the, and if it predicts spaceship, you wrap it on the knuckles and say bad. But if it predicts cat, you say nice job, just like training a dog. But you do this on 30 billion sentences, you do it repeatedly. And by the end of it, it gets really good at predicting the next word, as you might expect. Okay? And so once you train it on these things, it can do something extremely useful and not very well understood, which is you give it any sentence, like the cat sat on the, it'll actually calculate this table in real time. Okay? It calculates this table, given the phrase. Now, what does this table have? So each word in the English dictionary is a row in this table. So you can see on the left that it only has 2 columns. The left column is every word in the English dictionary. And the column on the right tells you roughly what % of the time in those 30 billion sentences did that particular word in the dictionary actually follow the phrase that you put into ChatGPT. So what % of the time did the word mat showed up after the phrase the cat sat on the? And what % of the time did the word, what do I have here? The fridge. What % of the time did the word fridge show up? By the way, if you folks have seen YouTube cat videos, you will know there are lots of cats sitting on fridges. So it's not unexpected that such a thing would happen from the data. Okay? So with this table, ChatGPT can basically auto-complete the next word. You give it any sentence, right? Makes perfect sense. So you take a sentence, you put it in. It can actually pick the most plausible next word, which in this example is, of course, the word cat, mat. Cat sat on the mat. But it doesn't have to pick the most plausible. It can pick something else. It can actually sample from this table. Because the table tells you how often something is going to show up after the phrase. It can say, you know what, I'm going to pick fridge once. I'm going to pick spaceship some other times. But the point is, every time it samples, a different word might pop up. Okay? And that's why when you and I put a phrase into ChatGPT, the exact same question, you may get different answers back. Or if you put the same question in the morning versus the evening, you'll get a different answer back. That's because it's sampling from this table. Right? Now, of course, the more likely words are going to show up more often. Right? And the less likely words are going to show up less often. So the cat sat on the aardvark is probably never going to show up. Right? So that's the basic mechanism by which it produces the next word.